All right, we are live. Yeah,
Awesome.
we always have had an issue when we are trying to find out when we are live or not, but it always takes us and the first 5 seconds or 10 seconds where we are just looking at the screen. All right, welcome everyone to our data science club video.
Hey, buddy.
So we have been talking about intro to SQL or some basic levels of SQL till now, and we thought that it would be a good idea to just go ahead and talk through the next steps in SQL, that is the advanced SQL, or at least that's what Kaggle exercises say, advanced SQL. So we thought that we'll go through those exercises as well because I guess it's good to have a continuous flow of exercises that people are doing on just one topic. And so, yeah, let's get going with that. All right, so we are again going through the Kaggle exercises. If you are not sure how to go to it, you just go to kaggle.com. You see courses on the left hand side box or column. Click on courses, and then if you scroll down below intro to SQL, you have advanced SQL. If you guys haven't gone through our last 4 videos, I guess we had 4 videos about intro to SQL. I would suggest go ahead and go through them first and then come back to this video because I think it's going to take a lot of concepts that we have already applied in Intro to SQL and use them over here. So it would be a good idea to go through them first and then come over here. So once you see Advanced SQL over here, uh, just click and open them. And we are starting with the first one, joins and unions. So let's just take a brief look at the tutorial, I guess, first, and then we'll go to exercise. So and then we learned how to use inner join to consolidate. So that was the last topic that we discussed last time, how you can join two different tables and then use information from both of those tables to for your query. Uh, Now we'll learn some more about different types of joins and how to use unions to pull information. So we can use an inner join where we compare two different IDs from two different tables and join them. Or we can use, there is left join, there is right join, there is full join. I think this Venn diagram is really useful.
Yeah.
So if you do inner join, that means that
Are we supposed to be
only,
sharing right now?
oh, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because at first it was, making sense, but then I was like, wait,
Oh,
where?
my bad. I thought I was
That's
sharing
okay.
the lab.
Nope.
So,
There you go.
so let's just go back through that. So if you go to kaggle.com, you go to courses, you go to advanced SQL, and in that advanced SQL, we are looking at joins and unions. Uh, so we are just going through the joins and unions. We are just going through the tutorial first, and then we'll go through the exercise. And we have already talked about inner join and how we used inner join last time in the last topic of Intro to SQL when we had two different columns in two different tables that were matching each other. So we used to match them and then just keep the values which had a corresponding value in the other table. So that was inner join. In this one, it looks like we are going to be doing some other types of joins as well. So left join, right join, full join, and this Venn diagram really helps us in finding out um, how you are joining those two tables and what kind of entries remain after you have done the join. So we did inner join last time. That basically means only the common values that are there in both tables according to the parameter on which you are matching them, those are the only ones that remain. In left join, you have all the common ones and the ones remaining in the left table. That's going to remain in the resulting big table, I guess, or resulting combined table. Full join is going to keep everything, whether they were whether they are only remaining in one, whether they are remaining in the left one, or whether they are remaining in the right table. Um, and there is union as well. Horizontally combines results from different tables. You can do so with the union. All right, so this one is just to combine one or so parameters from two different tables and just concatenate them into a bigger, I guess, table with one parameter or two parameters, whatever you choose. So an example is they are looking at hacker news. They have a parent ID. I think this is the one that we did last time. And there is a stories table. So we do a left join and order by c.name. So left join means basically, so it is going to keep everything that's common between these two tables, the stories table and so the stories table and the comments table, right? And it's going to keep all the ones that are common and the ones that are there in the left column. So the left column is this one. Select the comments table. So it's going to keep all the results from there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Since the results are ordered by the number of comments column, stories without comments appear at the end of the column. Yeah, so if you'll see the ones that don't have a matching value, they are just going to get this one single, not a number value over here. The ones that will have a value are going to just get a number. So select, so union distinct, we are just getting the comments from here and stories from here, and we are combining them with union distinct. And we just need to find the length of this number to find out how many people actually came onto the site or posted something. So comment is a post, story is a post, and combining both of those users and finding a distinct value is just going to give us a number of actual users who came in. All right, so let's go into exercises. If you please take your time in going through this. I know we generally just glance over and we'll come back to this when we are doing our exercises, just so that we don't have to type everything, and for some help as well. But when you are going through this, first go through this clearly and then go to your exercises. All right, so the first section is always the same in Kaggle, that just basically sets up your checks and hints for the rest of your notebooks. And let's see. So we are getting we are getting posts underscore questions table, and we are getting it from Stack Overflow project. Up, I'm just running that. I highlighted it, so it was just running set underscore ref. All right, so we have the table. We have ID is this, title is this, body, owner, display name, parent ID, post type. All right. So you have client.dataset, client.get dataset, client dataset table. So we also take a look at the posts answers table. So this is another table that we are looking at. So posts questions and posts tables.
Yep, they have us back on Stack Exchange.
Yeah. So now we are going to be working with these two tables for all the sections below. So how long does it take for questions to receive answers? You are interested in exploring the data to have a better how long it generally takes for questions to receive answers. So with this goal in mind, you write the query below, which focuses on questions.
Yeah, I think they are having us look at some information first,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there. Let's see what we got.
All right. So we got select minimum timestamp difference.
Hmm, that
Percentage of
seems
answered questions is 100%, and number
that
of,
seems unlikely.
yeah. And why is time to answer is 0?
At least for some of them. Yeah, it looks like somebody answered immediately. Oh, that's possible because on Stack Exchange, you're allowed to answer your own question. And on some of the Substack exchanges, you're allowed to post an answer with the question, like
Okay.
literally at the same time. And so that's probably what we're seeing there.
Yeah, and they do mention that it is a bit surprising or suspect that all of them have answers 100% of the questions, and they do say that almost 80% of the questions do really receive an answer. The total number of questions is surprisingly low. You expected to see at least 150,000 questions.
Oh, did that come up earlier? And, well, I suppose they maybe expect us to know that. We probably could have figured it out from the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
But
So, given these observations, you think that the type of join you have chosen has inadvertently excluded unanswered questions. Using the code cell below, can you figure out what type of join to use to fix the problem so that the table includes unanswered questions? All right, so we can just use this and then we'll just make changes to that.
let's see if we can change the join.
Yeah.
Luckily, they even say just change the join.
Yeah. So we have
Oh,
questions.
yeah.
So inner join is going to just keep the questions that actually had a valid answer as well. That's why we have 100% of the answers. So what if we do, since the question is the left table, so we are going to do a left join. And
Right,
let's,
since questions is the left one. Yeah, that makes sense.
so the first one that you run is the left. So you start with left and then you have another table that's on the right. So left join means that you're going to keep, so if in both of my hands, these two fingers are the common ones. Inner join is only going to give me an answer of these two fingers. But if I'm doing a left and right join, I guess you guys might be seeing it opposite on the screen, but you get the point. So in the left join, what is going to happen is the resulting table is going to be these three fingers and these two fingers as well, because they were common. So
Yep.
it would,
And it just fills the missing information in with null.
Yeah.
Assuming that's allowed by the table.
Yeah. So now we get the correct answer because we are keeping all the questions, whether they were answered or not.
And that makes sense. Now we're seeing nans for time to answer. If there's no answer, how can it have a time to answer? That is a known value. So it's not a number.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have 82%, like they mentioned earlier, that about 80% questions get answers. And the number of questions have also gone above 150. So earlier they were 132 and now they're 162.
Yep. And that difference is about 18%. So it looks like it.
So initial questions and answers. You are interested in understanding the initial experiences that users typically have with Stack Overflow website. Is it more common for users to first ask questions or provide answers? After signing up, how long does it take for users to first interact with the website? Okay. To explore this further, you draft the partial query in the code cell below. The query returns a table with 3 columns: owner user ID, question creation date, answer creation date. The first time the user contributed an answer. So who have asked questions but have yet to provide answers, and your table should also include users who have answered questions but have yet to. With this in mind, please fill in the appropriate join. Okay, so we want to keep track of users who have asked questions but have yet to provide answers. And your table should also include users who have answered questions but have yet to pose their questions. Huh. So do they want the people who have both asked a question and answered, or no?
Well, I mean, it looks like they want people who have asked a question but have no answers.
Okay, so that means the ones that would have, in the Venn diagram, the ones that would have anything in common, the common part needs to be removed.
Right. So it looks like we want a left join, but then throw out the middle.
Yeah, but we also want the users who have answered questions but have yet to pose their own questions.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That sounds like an outer join, but
Yeah, it doesn't even sound like a full join. Outer join should be the correct one, but they only give us these options.
okay. Well,
So it could also be that they also want people who have done both, asked
yeah, that's true.
and answered. That would be full join.
Let's give it a try and see. Let's suss out what they're actually expecting.
Yeah.
Honestly, part of data science is figuring out what people want.
Yeah.
It's an important part.
So that is the correct question. I wanted to just see the hint.
Sure.
All rows from both tables. Yeah, but did they? I just don't know if they asked us.
Yeah, I don't feel like they asked for that.
Yeah, the common thing, right? In the Venn diagram.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm thinking that is missing, or I'm not just finding it.
No, I feel like what they've asked for is different from what they expected.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I mean, William is really absolutely correct that a lot of times in data science you have to figure out what the end user is asking for. It's basically just like in this one. In this one, we weren't sure that they really wanted the common values in a Venn diagram or not. We were pretty sure of the rest of the values, that if one has a question, doesn't have an answer. If one have an answer, doesn't have a question. Those definitely they wanted. The only middle portion where they have asked question and also answered some questions, that's the part that we were missing. But it looks like with this they wanted full join. So it's a really important part of data science where you know the question that you are trying to solve. All right, so initial questions and answers, part 2. So now you'll address a more realistic and complex scenario. To answer this question, you'll need to pull information from 3 different tables. This syntax very similarly to the case when we have to join only 2 tables. For instance, consider the 3 tables below. Owners, we can use 2 different joins to link together information from all 3 tables in a single query. Okay, so this what this basically doing is it's taking so it's going to combine the first 2 first, owner name and pet name, with a full join, and then they are going to do a left join based on treats. So it's basically like they have 3 tables and we are doing it in a single query. But if you divide it into steps, what they're going to do is they're going to combine owners and pets table first. That would make it a single big larger table. And then they're going to combine that single table to the treats table after that. And so let's see. What is the query that we are supposed to write? With this in mind, say you are interested in understanding users who joined the site in January 2019. You want to track their activity on the site. When did they post their first questions and answers, if ever? So question creation date and answer creation date.
Let's see.
And all users who joined the site in January should be included, even if they have never posted a question or provided an answer. Post answer.
I'm a little confused. Is it, they say the IDs of all users in January, but then later they say even those after. Oh,
Yeah.
questions and answers posted after January. Okay. So if you created it in January and then post it at a later time, you are included in the results.
Yeah, and we don't have the users table, do we?
It may be in there somewhere.
We have the time to answer, but we don't have, or at least I didn't see any users table, did we?
We may have to look through the
So we got
list.
table ref.
Oh, we may. That's a good question.
So we got post question, and we got post answers. I don't think we ever tried to get the users, but it looks like they are just giving the entire thing anyways.
Right.
So we might as well just try.
Maybe there's a dot users table or something.
Yeah. All right. So we can start with this, I guess. Table.
Yeah, and go from there. Use it as a template.
Yeah. All right. So write a query that returns the following columns. ID, the IDs of all users who created Stack Overflow accounts in January 2019. So this one actually does give us question. This is for question creation date.
Right.
So we are supposed to find first.
But we don't. I don't think we need to worry about that one. What we need to do is limit it by the user ID.
Yeah.
By date, which I guess we'll have to figure out from a different table. So.
Okay. So the question and answer.
We may need to do a quick query of our own to see what the tables list looks like.
Yeah. So let's.
We can probably add our own cell in there or something.
Yeah. Where is the cell button now? Did we add? Oh, I did.
There you go.
So users.
Let's see if there's a users table. Aha.
So we have a creation date. So if this creation date lies between 2019 of January 1 to 2019 of January 31, I guess.
Right.
And that should be all the users in January. So just a little bit.
Okay, we can. Okay, so
Yeah.
we can probably do extract month from date expression.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see what's the first two columns that we should join. So with this in mind, say you are interested in users who joined the site in January 2019. Okay, we can get it from users table. You want to track their activity on the site. When did they post their first questions and answers, if ever? Okay. So first we need to limit it to, you are right that we need to limit it to just, I guess, the users table gets combined with question creation date and answer creation date.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll combine it with question creation date first, and then I'll go to the answer creation date. All right. I think it's time we just start on our own.
Yeah.
All right. So select u dot id as id.
Yeah, I'm kind of writing my own, and that's where I started to. And then I extracted month and year from the creation date. I think it was u.creation date, right?
Yeah. So we will come back to them later. So we are going to start with from dot users
Mm-hmm.
as u left join, because we want to keep all the users whether they have created a question ever or not. Left join
Stack Overflow.
so we want to first look at questions as q,
Uh-huh.
where q dot
Oh yeah, what is the appropriate?
sorry, we're not where on oh, we have to combine them too. On q dot id is
Owner user ID, I think.
yeah, so user id is just id.
Yeah, it's just ID, but then it's owner user ID for
For the question?
for the question. I think it's owner user ID is what it looks like.
Oh, okay. So the question ID is for the question. Okay. So on
Yeah, it's the question's unique ID.
okay. So u dot id equal to question dot owner
underscore user underscore ID.
Does that look right?
Yes.
So where u dot I'll have to take a look at the table again.
Yeah.
So we want the creation date for this user, right? So this is for users, and we have this creation date. Where u dot
And yeah, it's the same for answers, owner user ID.
so it's just January 2019, right?
Yeah.
All right, so where q dot creation date is where user creation date is before this, and now we need to do a left join again. Oh, actually, we also need the
Well, you can do, in principle, you can do u.creation date between, just to make it a little more compact.
Yeah. So we also need the q creation date.
Oh yeah, that, and it has, yes.
Select u.id as id. Do we need a comma in between them? Yes. Q dot creation date as q underscore creation date. And a dot creation date as a creation date. So after this, we need to do another do a left join again, because we still want to keep all the question users that have never given an answer as well.
Mm-hmm.
So SQ. So this is posts answers, if I'm not wrong, as A, and we need to give another on. So u dot id equal to a dot owner user. I was hoping not to type so much, but it looks like we'll still have to type. All right, this looks correct to me. What do you think?
Looks reasonable, yes.
Let's just try it out. You don't have a valid query yet. Try again. What's... Oh, do they want this min? Q dot creation date?
Oh, they want the first time, yes. So they do want that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is true. So select you from BigQuery users as you. Oh, we haven't grouped by ID. Plus, it looks like we need to do this after all the joins as well. I wasn't
Yeah, it
expecting that.
looks that way.
Group by ID. So they really don't like the left join. I thought left join is a good.
I mean, left join works. I mean, I'm getting the same error still, but I have exactly what they wrote, and I think I have exactly what they wrote.
Let's just look at the solution and we'll. So left join. That's what we did. Oh, well, would it matter if we have this changed around?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, that should not have an issue.
Well, let's think about it. So first we have the users. And
Yeah.
then we left join on IDs on the questions.
Oops. I did not.
No, it should still work.
I did not put this in the correct place as well.
Oh, you put it in the middle of yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have mine right though, and it's complaining still.
Oh, it's running.
Oh, yours is running?
I mean, it hasn't given me correct or incorrect till now.
Oh, that's a good sign.
It has given a correct. Yeah, so it was just this weird. So for people watching, so that we are not just lost in what we are doing, it's basically we selected three rows as they mentioned. So they mentioned you should have this ID, the ID of the user, question creation date, that were the first time the user posted a question, and answer creation date, and the first time a user answered. So we selected three of those rows. So the u.id as ID, that means that we are going to name the user table as u. And then we found the minimum of this question.creation date. So there are a lot of questions that a user might have created. So we wanted to just find the first time they had posted. That means the minimum value. And again, the same thing for the answer.creation date. So these three satisfy the three columns that we wanted eventually in the final table. So once we have those three uh, fields that we wanted in a table, we check the um, first table that we are looking at. So we are looking at users table. From users table that we define as u, we do a left join on the question table. So posts question table, that is defined as q. And what we do is we check the user.id and match it to, in questions table, there is owner user ID field. And those two, if they match, we do a left join on the tables. That basically means if a user doesn't have any questions that they wanted, they have uh, put in questions, even those users would still show. And that's what the description of the problem was. And then we did a left join on the answers. And so this left join is on the bigger table that got generated by combining the user table and the question table. And again, we were like just user.id equal to answer.question owner user ID. And we again did a left join because we still want to keep the users who haven't provided an answer. And eventually, you need to do where, so that we can just limit the entire table into the users that got created in January of 2019, and you group them by ID. And that's basically it. So the error that was occurring was we had where after the first join, and when you're joining more than three tables, it looks like you have to do the where clause after you have done all the joins, or the group by clause, or any other clause.
And I can confirm I did it both ways and it works in any order. So
Yeah. So in the code cell below, write a query that returns a table with a single column, owner user ID. How many distinct users posted on January 1, 2019? So this is the union operator, right?
right.
So you can get the ID of the original poster from the owner user ID column. Likewise, the IDs of all users who posted at least one question or answer on January 1, 2019. Each user ID should appear at most once. So we are looking for distinct values.
Yeah, so it looks like we're counting in the union.
Yeah, I'm going to try to use.
Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can borrow some of this. Huh?
Yeah. All right, so we want just owner user ID. So
Yeah, that's the only thing we want in the output, it looks like.
yeah, you can also actually take a look at the value that they had over here. So select C dot by.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, that was for Hacker News though. So for I think for this, I guess it depends. You want a user ID, right? Or yeah, so it'd be just owner user ID from each table.
Yeah, I think this one is a much more easier one to change.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Absolutely. Since it's pretty much exactly what they're asking.
yeah. I mean, so this one we want. We don't want the by column. We want the
Owner user ID.
owner user ID. So
Right. So maybe Q dot owner user ID.
yeah, owner user ID. From BigQuery, we are not looking at Hacker News. We are looking at
Stack Overflow dot post questions or post answers. All right.
So as
Q.
and we want the
We don't need that. Yeah, we just need to change the whole. We don't need the extract part. We just need to change the creation date equals to 2019-0101.
Oh yeah, do we need extract date? No, right?
Nope.
Where Q.
Because I think they had a full timestamp on the Hacker News one. So 2014, with the time as well.
Is it creation date?
Yes, it's creation date.
Okay. So where Q dot creation date equal to, we want January
19. Yep. 0101. You got it.
2019. And then we do a union and distinct union. That means only one of those values remain. So again, so we want a dot owner user ID.
Oh, you have two tick marks on that line you just copied. And then now on the new one too.
So we want this as A and we want answers over here.
There's one thing I've learned: catch your typos early.
Yeah. And we again just need this.
Yep, just gotta change it to A and you're good to go.
Okay.
And I think we may need to, that may get everybody though. So we may need to, yeah. Oh, 0 rows. Okay, well that's interesting. I'm sure I expected.
Do we need to define this as owner user ID?
Oh, yes. So it's yeah.
Owner user ID. Well, technically, even then it should not have this low. I'm actually surprised. I don't think this is the error. It would still show 0, but you have 0 rows. Is it called? It is called Q dot owner user ID. Yeah, Q dot.
Well, if it didn't exist, it'd throw an error. So. I'm pretty sure that's the right one. Yeah, I just double checked this. Yeah.
It's a bit surprising.
Oh, our creation date also has all of that stuff in it too. The timestamp. So we do need the extract, actually.
Oh, we did.
Yep. Should have checked our assumptions first. Oh, well.
All right. So let's see. So we're extract from a dot creation date.
We have 2 wheres.
Yeah. Where extraction date from Q dot.
I'm imagining some astute viewer is watching going, no, you got to put the extract. You got to leave it there.
All right. That looks correct. So yeah, so we needed to extract the date from a creation date. Especially, I think it is because we are not doing a less than or equal to, less than or greater than comparison. We are doing an equal to comparison. So that might be.
It implicitly adds a timestamp probably at midnight, I guess.
Yeah, that would be my guess. So for equal to, we need to have just extracted the date from it. And that's basically it. So I think this one has lasted for almost 50 minutes. So we are going to close this session, and next time we are going to go through the second exercise. These
Awesome.
generally usually takes longer. I mean, we don't try to hide some of these errors that show up, especially once we have all these typos and stuff, because that's how you generally, when you are typing and you are researching, that's how it's going to be always, that you come up with typos, and you have to research and or try to find out why the error occurred.
Hmm.
uh,
And with any
and
luck, you're using an IDE with a linter and syntax highlighting, and it'll tell you when you're going wrong right away. Hopefully,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
recommend using just a plain old text editor for doing this stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully this was useful to you guys. I think I learned a few things as well, on especially combining three or more tables at
Yeah.
once. And yeah, we'll catch up with you guys next time. Thanks
Okay.
for watching, and post your comments, come to the office hours, or just email us, whichever way you prefer to ask your questions. Do